It's been quite the eventful summer for Toronto FC. New head coach, a little bit of a same old, same old. And they finally did something that a lot of people didn't think they would do this year, gentlemen. And that, of course, is finally parting ways with Lorenzo Insigne and Federico Bernardeschi. So now they have a little bit of money to play with here. The transfer window opens July 24th. What do you think Toronto FC should do? Jordan, do you actually think right out of the gate they should sign a new DP?
Nope. Hell to the no. No, not. I wouldn't. Don't do that. Like, I think when you look at their side, and I think specifically with soccer, football, it's not like other sports. You need a full team. There's 11 players that play, but how many times are you chopping and changing and mixing and matching? A lot. Like, there's only a certain amount of progress you can make with a top 11 players. You need to really have a good, solid group. So I would think after the worst signing in club history, the worst two signings, you could even argue, have just left. This is a time to try to bolster your squad properly. And I think the way to do that is to have versatility within your squad. So players that can come in and play different spots and really figure out who is best to play a certain way. Because I don't even know Rob Fraser and how he wants to play in his brand of football moving forward. But I think you need to get bodies, people that can actually move and run. And also, too, you see it all the time in other leagues around the world. When you play against other clubs, you start to see, oh, you like that guy, or he's a pain in the you-know-what to play against. Maybe this is a time for TFC to kind of finagle and wiggle around and see, hey, I've liked this guy for a while. Can he come to our club and make things different? So I'd go a bit younger. I'd go versatility. I would not sign a DP in the near future.
I think they'll sign one this summer. I think they have to. I wouldn't sign both right now. To your point, Jordan, like your point's well taken because they need to be patient. Like they need to get this right. But I do think that they're in a position to at least bring in one player this window. My understanding is that nothing is imminent in terms of deciding who that priority player may be. The club is looking at attacking midfielders and wingers. I personally think that addressing the wing area, the wide area, is an absolute need for this team based upon some of the contractual status of current players. That's the direction that I would go. I know that Brownhill from Burnley, his name has been put out there. I never heard that name, but I'm getting an inclination that could be a name that they're considering. But again, I have nothing's told me that he's atop the pile or top the priority list. Heard there's a couple French players that the club are looking at as well. But yeah, I fully expect them to bring in one designated player this summer, but keep some flexibility once more players come off the books at the end of the season, maybe to address that second DP. They need to start building somewhere. I think it starts now, but it's going to be incremental, and it's going to be more about precision rather than doing something that they may regret.
Wheels, you said the DP should be attacking players? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely attacking players. Okay. I mean, this is where they're short. At one point, the priority was a number 9, but I think the fact that you lose Insigne and Bernardeschi, both kind of played in a wide area, inverted wingers, that it just creates more of a need in that role as well. I believe Etienne Jr. is up at the end. I don't think he's good enough anyways. Corbin, who's a player I would hang on to, but his loan expires at the end of the year. Who knows what happens to Spicer? So all of a sudden your wide area is looking rather thin. So that's where I think it'll be an attack-minded wide player. That's what I would think the priority would be, but I know they're considering attacking midfielders as well.
So let me ask you this, because you're right. There does seem to be a lot of unknown with some players, whether it's because loan is up, deal is expired, or we don't know if Toronto FC wants to move on from certain players. But like, is there any player you would build off of or build around, Wheels? Or does it feel like they're starting from scratch?
I think they're starting from scratch a little bit. I think that, players like Richie Larea will continue to be there, Jonathan Osorio, but they're on the older side of things with like big contracts where I'm not sure the club is getting bang for their buck, but both players are very good for Toronto FC and players that you love to have at the club. Two players that I would hold on to, and both of their futures are a little bit in doubt. One, I mentioned him, Theo Corbeanu. Like, I just look at him as a player that's far from the finished commodity, but possesses the size and strength required to succeed in Major League Soccer. And I think it was a smart move to bring him over on a loan. I would try to find a way to make that permanent or lock him up, because I do think that he requires a lot more polish, but there's a player there, and I like to see where this could go. A Canadian player as well. The other player I really like, and maybe he's a little bit of a one-trick pony, is Davy Flores. Like, he's just a ball winner, no nonsense, physical player in the middle of the park. Went off injured on the weekend after scoring a rare goal for him, but it's the little things that he does to provide the attacking players the platform to go in and play. I really rate the player. I think he hasn't necessarily been always used right during his time at Toronto FC, but those are two players I think that can provide a little bit more of what you need at the club. Other than that, I mean, right now, it's about flexibility and having the ability to move on from some in order to get better looking contracts on the books that gives you flexibility to move and make decisions elsewhere. They've been handcuffed in so many ways, Andy. So, yeah, that's what I would do.
I know you're mentioning names, but it also just sounds like you're not building around anyone. You're not building off of anyone. Do you agree with that? Okay, so you agree with that, Jordan?
No, I do. Every time you look at teams, I think people complicate things as well and say, "Oh, I want to play this inverted system and this and that. I want to play." At the end of the day, is who is irreplaceable or immovable in your squad. And I don't think you can look at many players at TFC's roster right now and say that. With that being said, there are some players that it makes sense them playing for the Reds. Like, Wheels already touched on it, like an Oso, played the most caps for the club, like a Richard Larrea, you know what he could bring. But is there immovable pieces? No, I don't think so. I think you have to go and start building your spine of your team. Obviously, Wheels already touched on the attacking part and the wing, and I didn't know it was that bleak, to be honest, going into the show. Like, I didn't know that so many contracts are coming up and players are about to leave. So that's obviously an area you need a bolster. But when you look at a team and how you win, through that spine, and I think you can literally bring in 2 center backs, 2 midfielders, 2 strikers. Like this, you can go down the list, and that's an area that needs to be attended to immediately.
Well, this is it. Because for so long, I feel like we've been talking about once the 2 Italians go, TFC can really turn it around. And I think this is where Jason Hernandez, though, and Robin Fraser are really going to show their chops, because now that the Italians are in fact gone, what decisions are going to be made? This is where it starts. So a lot of eyeballs, of course, are going to be on Robin Fraser. I think in particular, Jason Hernandez and the moves that he's going to make to lay that foundation down for Toronto FC, as they now have that wiggle room to do just that. You've been watching OneSoccer Direct. That's Jordan Wilson, Gareth Wheeler, and Manny Petrillo. See you next time.